Welcome to once again in the Department of English, RBNB College, Srirampur, and you are watching a video related to English Special Paper 3, that is about novel. Especially this video is concerned with the elements of novel. Now in the last video we have started about the background of novel. Now here in this lecture you are going to know about the important element of novel, that is plot. So my today's focus in this video is especially about the plot and how it is one of the important element of novel, or we can say the soul of novel. So here is the lesson plan for you. First of all, we will study plot, its meaning and importance, how the plot is important in novel as well as plays. The second point is what are the qualities of a perfect plot, or we say good plot, or what is the meaning of it and which things should be included in the perfect plot. The third point is what are the demands of perfect plot, or to which plot we should call it a perfect plot. The next one is the difference between story and a plot. What is the difference between story and plot? While the last point is about the types of the plot, that is simple and complex, as well as a loose plot and compound plot, or organic plot even also. Okay, now I come to the first one, that is meaning and importance of plot. So plot is one of the important elements of novel or play, we say. What are the other elements? We have story, characterization, or setting, tone, or point of view. What is point of view? That is the implied philosophy of life, or narrative techniques, dialogues, etc. These are the elements of novel or play. Here I would like to focus your attention on how the plot is important in play as well as a novel. So this is the basic elements, or we called it soul of the work, and it answers the question why happens. While in the story we have to we know about what happened, and in the plot why happened. So this is the basic difference between story and plot. It is nothing but a dramatic or narrative work of the author. Here it decides the structure of the action, how they are ordered or how they are extended. So here question how is very important and why is very important. It able to achieve the particular emotional as well as artistic effect of the work on its reader or in its viewer, we can say. It is simply the fusion of related incidents or related actions or related events. So this fusion is very important. Just like a piece of cloth, we have vertical and horizontal threads are there, and they are woven together very neatly. In this way, the plot, if the plot is a good one, the work naturally becomes very popular. And to describe the importance of plot, we can say plot is the best way to tell the story. So we have to turn this story into the plot, and this is where we can say the skill of the artist, how he makes his story into a plot. Now I come to the second point, that is perfect or good plot. Which plot is known as good plot or perfect plot? After all, it is the genius of its master, that is the creator, that is the author or the playwright, dramatist or novelist. It is his skill, and every individual has different skills. So sometimes some novels are very popular while some are not. The reason is the plot, the arrangement of the plot. It is very important because in a literary work we have different incidents or different events, and the novelist or the dramatist has to systematically organized and arranged these events or these incidents in the work. Or we can say a well and artistically composed events or incidents are known as plot. In the perfect plot, there should not be gap or inconsistencies, because it harms the perfect plot. The perfect plot gives the aesthetic pleasures to its reader, and there should be the arrangement or the balance of proportion of the story. So story and plot, they should be equally developed in the literary piece. The incidents takes place in the novel or in the play or in the drama. They should be appear naturally and spontaneously. So it should not, the incident should not enter artificially. This is very important in case of the perfect plot. These incidents must help each other or one another to develop. Then the next one is the final result of the work. The reader must be satisfied at the end of the work. The characters in the work, they should play very freely, just like the living characters live in real life. Because characters plays very important role in the plot, or we can say characters are the demands of the plot, and plot has to satisfy the demand of the characters. Okay, now I come to the next one, that is what are the essential things, or what are the demands, or we can say what are the needs of a perfect or good plot. First of all, the aim of literature, one of the aim of the literature is to amuse the reader or utilize the leisure hour of the reader, and this plot must satisfy its reader to amuse or kill the time or leisure to utilize the leisure work. Then sometime in our day-to-day life we are under pressure, we are under strain, and the main aim of literature is to get relief from the strain of practical affairs in our day-to-day life. So this relief should be get through the good plot. It should maintain the interest of its reader, so that the reader eagerly knows what happened later, what happens after it. So his interest or her interest should be maintained. The artist has to keep in mind this point. Or we can say literature, or especially this element of the literature, that is plot, it is the tonic to its readers. So the plot should play the role of tonic to its readers. His or her passions or conflicts or problems should be reflected in the work, and there should be the reality one. So to get the reality, the artist must be familiar with or must have the knowledge of life and men living in the society, or we can say first hand experience is very important. You cannot describe the sorrows and sufferings of the poor people while living in AC rooms. So you have to go there. You have to understand the life of poverty. Then and then only you can describe realistically. Okay. Then one more important demand of perfect plot is that there should be the logical or spontaneous arrangement of the events, because in a literary work, there are a number of incidents takes place. So there should be we can say logical arrangement of these events, that which event should take first, which should come later, which should come at end, like this. It is known as there should be the logical connection. And this at the same time, the narrative technique of the author or writer or creator must be the impressive one. And the incidents should develop naturally. This is very important, and up to the end even also. There should not be the artificial incident, or the reader should not think while reading, he or she should not think or imagine that some artistic things are happening in this work. Now I come to the next point, that is the difference between story and plot. So both these, story as well as plot, they are the important elements of literary work, or literary elements of maybe novel, maybe drama, etc. Both are important. They are interrelated and they support each other. Plot helps the story to develop, while story increase the interest of the plot. So we can say these are the two sides of the same coin. E.M. Forster, in his work Passage to he distinguishes aspects of novel. He distinguishes the difference between the story and the plot, and he has given very simple example to discriminate story from the plot. He says the king died and then the queen died is a story, while the king died then the queen died of grief. Why happened? Why queen is died? So of grief, it is known as plot. Now the last point, that is the different types of the plot. So so far as the types of plot are concerned, we can differentiate them under two heads, that is according to unity of action. Plot can be divided into two major groups, that is simple plot and compound plot. Means according to unity and according to the structure of work or nature of the structure, we have loose as well as organic plot. So now we are going to study the first type, that is according to unity of action. There are two types of plot, simple plot and compound, or sometimes it is complex plot even also. So it is a simple way to remember that simple plot has one story. For example, the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne is the best example of simple plot. Or Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe is again the example of the simple plot, that it is basically Things Fall Apart. It is basically related to the Igbo community. Okay, and Okanko, the hero of the novel, he remained present. Whatever going to happen, it is related to his family and his village and his community. So nothing, other things, they are not included in the work. While the second type, that is compound or complex plot, there are the two or more stories are developed at the same time, and they are interwoven together very neatly by the dramatist or the novelist. For example, or in short we can say, there is a main plot and subplot. And the Pride and Prejudice, the famous English novel written by Jane Austen, is the best example of such a type of plot. Here the main story is related to Elizabeth and Darcy, while the subplot, it describes the love affair of Jane and Bingley, Lydia and Wickham, and Collins and Charlotte. Or in the Vanity Fair by William Thackeray, this is also the second example of complex or compound plot. Here the main story is related to Mr. Becky and Shaw, while the subplot, the story related with Amelia and Sidley. So here actually in this work, the plot is not properly amalgamated. Now I come to the second type of plots, that is according to the nature of structure. We have loose plots and organic plot. First we will know about loose plot. What is loose plot? Actually, in loose plot, the story is formed of detached or unconnected or unwanted incidents, and there is no, we can say, logical connection among the events or incidents. The story derives its utility from the protagonist, and the narration is oriented not action but protagonist. Okay, protagonist and antagonist, these are the terms used in case of novel. In simple way, we say protagonist is the hero, while antagonist is the villain. So protagonist participates in every episode, and it is not actually wanted. So that's why we called it as a loose plot. For example, Robinson's Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, or Joseph Andrews by Henry Fielding, and William Thackeray's Vanity Fair. These are the best examples that their plot are known as loose plot. Now the last type of plot, that is known as organic plot. It is just opposite to loose plot. The separate incidents are treated episodically. There is not the we can say intermingling of the incidents, and different incidents are woven together very neatly, or we say very artistically. The episode, they are integrated part of the work, and the creator, the novelist or the dramatist, arrange the proper places of character and event before his or her writing, and absence of any incidents affect the unity of action. In short, we can say every incident leads to the catastrophe, or we can say misfortune, or tragedy, or calamity of action. When we study Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, or H.G. Wells' The History of Mr. Polly, E.M. Foster's A Passage to India, or Henry Fielding's Tom Jones, Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, or George Eliot's Adam Bode. Sorry, these are the best examples that these novels has organic plot. So here is about the plot. I hope you like this description about the plot. Thank you to spare time with me.